Welcome to the Windy City Rundown. Yeah, welcome to another great episode of the Windy. Am I not showing? I don't know, but I am Eric Avila. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. There we go. I am Eric Avila. That is Jose Contreras. We're having some technical difficulties. That's why we've been starting a little late, but it's all good. We're here. We're live, guys. Make sure you guys follow us and like us on our Facebook page. Subscribe on our YouTube page. Hit the little bell on both YouTube and Facebook to get notified when we're live every Tuesday, supposedly at 7:30, but today we're starting a little late. But yes, we start every Tuesday 7:30. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on our YouTube, like and share on our Facebook page. Jose, how the hell are you today, my guy?
Yo, what's up, Eric? I'm good, man. What a day. We're not talking about the Bears today. We're talking about the Bulls, baby. Bulls basketball.
Bulls basketball, indeed, Jose. And you know what? And what can you say? Rightfully so, right? Or about time, a little too late. But regardless of the fact, Jose, the Bulls are making moves. They are trading away pieces. They traded away Kevin Huerter today, too, as well. They made a trade for Dario Saric, who they actually traded away today. He only lasted about 24 to 48 hours with the Chicago Bulls. Thank you for the memories, Dario Saric there. But the biggest one for today, Jose, is the fact that Nikola Vucevic got traded to the Celtics for a second-round pick, and I forgot the player to be named that the Bulls got from the Celtics. Jose,
they got Simmons.
Alfred like Simmons. The Bulls have finally come to their wits' end and said, "You know what, Alfred Simmons, thank you." But Jose, it looked like the Bulls have finally said to themselves, "Yeah, we got to do this right and blow this thing up, man."
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, no, we got Alfred Simmons and a second-round pick from the Boston Celtics. Simmons I think was averaging like 14 points off the bench. Not bad. Pretty good shooter. He's coming in as a forward. But it's not surprising, right? Because it's something that we've all felt like the Bulls should have done a long time ago. But it is, I guess, when it happens, it's just like, damn, like, wave of emotions come, right? Because you're like, okay, finally, the Bulls seem to be picking a side here. They seem to be picking a lane, right? It's just it's in a way it's picking a lane, yeah. But in a way, it's still a little bit confusing because you don't know exactly what that is, right? Because you still have guys like Kobe White on your team, Josh Giddey. You still have. Yeah. You still have other pieces that could be tradable, right? It all depends on what the Bulls are looking to do. Maybe these two guys are somebody or two guys they want to build around pieces for when they get a star. What is it that they're looking to do, right? Because there's rumors out there about them trying to get Giannis, or this could be them maybe trying to finally tank, right? Rebuild, whatever you want to say. Whatever the case is, it seems like they have a plan. They have that plan in motion. They're moving forward with whatever they're trying to do. I'm excited to see exactly what it is because they made some moves, Eric. I mean, we got Mike Conley, right? In one of the trades, we got Jaden Ivey and another, right? As a potential young guard who could, make a splash when healthy. But right now, they have a lot of guards. They have like about 7 guards. Like, what are you going to do with all those guys? You know what I mean? That's why I think there's more trades. We have till Thursday. There's more coming. 100%. I'm waiting. I'm in wait and see mode to see what they're going to do.
100%. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, you can join us on our stream as well. The links are in the comments on our Facebook and YouTube page, or you could join us like our boy CP. CP on our comment section says we have like 7 guards on the roster, man. And then he also says, "Hello, we aren't going to get Giannis," like Jose said, Giannis, but like you said, Jose, please pick a lane. If you're going to rebuild, do that. This play in nonsense. I promise no fans want that.
Nobody.
Any more, 100%. I could agree with 100% with that one because it is kind of tiring, Jose, that the Bulls have been in this situation for the last 4 or 5 years, going back to the good old Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan days. Just being in the play-in and being content with that, Jose. And honestly, for the first time in a long time, I could finally say that the Bulls finally pick a lane and kind of realize that, this team it isn't what it is. I know there was a lot of hot topics. You and I were chilling the other day talking about that the Bulls had the second best size to land Giannis Antetokounmpo, but with the moves with Vucevic going to the Celtics, it looks like that's not possible anymore. That Giannis trade to come to the Bulls will no longer happen. But Jose, you're absolutely right. I think in CP, we picked the lane, and the lane is I think it's time to rebuild. I think it's time to blow this team up and see what we got. The Bulls have not a lot of draft picks, but enough draft. They have their own draft picks this time, right? And now they have Portland's draft pick this year. That's unfortunately lottery protected. I think it's the first top 10 picks that they can't pick. But even though, regardless, outside of that, Jose, it's a sign to show that you know what they have draft picks to build this and to do this the right way. The thing about that, Jose, is that they have to scout these players coming up, Jose, and the track record of AK and Mark Eversley hasn't been great drafting players. I mean, they've gotten Dalen Terry, they gotten God knows who else after that, because I can't even think of a player that the Bulls have drafted that has actually made an impact. Maybe Buzelis. I think Buzelis is probably one that they probably got right in the second round, but even outside of that, it's still not enough. Not enough impact players. It looks like they're going to build around Josh Giddey at this point now, and that's their future heading forward. But Jose, it still to me doesn't feel like the future may be bright, but it doesn't feel like they have enough to actually rebuild and actually have the confidence in the Bulls fans and the Chicagoland area that they can do this right, doing this rebuild.
Yeah, there's not much. There's not much faith amongst us fans, but that's a product of their indecisiveness, or that's a product of their, lack of transparency. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Like, these guys,
Yeah.
AK, obviously, they haven't done much to really give us any type of any type of praise or hope. Yeah, there really isn't. There's nothing there at all, and it sucks. Like you and I, Eric, I think we were both in agreement where it's like we boycotted this team for years. We weren't watching games. We weren't going to games. Hell, it left a bad taste in my mouth for the NBA in general. It was hard for me to watch any type of NBA games because I'm such a big Bulls fan. It's like how can I sit here and watch and enjoy a product where my team is just mid. It's mid. It sucked. And I'm not gonna lie. For years I was mad because when it seemed like we had something going, when we had Vucevic and we had DeRozan, we had LaVine, right? That Lonzo Ball, that team looked like it was going somewhere until Ball got hurt, and then it all just basically fell apart. And it sucked for it sucked for a while, even after that. And now here we are. The year before this, we really had no direction. We traded for Giddey. There was a lot of skepticism about that. He proved that he was a good player, right? And he could do something with it. But now it's like, okay, now what, right? Year in, year out, we're a play-in team. We're a mid-card team. We're not doing nothing with anything. And you and I both said this team should pick a lane. You either rebuild and tank and try to get a superstar, or spend some money, or make some moves to where you could maybe entice someone to come here. But even through that, you have to draft well. And you said it. We drafted someone like Patrick Williams. We gave him all this money for what? Didn't really deserve it, right? We drafted Dalen Terry. Doesn't even come off the bench like that, right? No. We have Noah Essengay, who's hurt, but how much of an impact was he bringing? Montas Buzelis is the bright star from this regime, right? They're doing something with him, right? Kobe White developing into what can be, a really good, solid role player is developing. That's another another bright star that shines here in Chicago. But looking at what we need to do, he might just be the trade piece we need to get some first rounders. We got a lot of second rounders, and the second round pick we got from Boston today, it was a swap, right? So we're getting New Orleans basically New Orleans second round pick, which should be a pretty high, I guess low pick, whatever you want to say. It should be like basically like a high first round pick, right? Because the Pelicans aren't good. So that's something. But at the same time, we're giving away a two-time All-Star, someone in Vooch you know is going to be consistent. Boston got someone there, right? Let's see what Anthony Simmons is. Let's see if he sticks around. Let's see if he's also going to be trade bait. Who knows, right? But again, the biggest thing was it finally seems like they're picking a lane here. I'm curious to see what they do with Ayo Dosunmu or Kobe White or Josh Giddey because we are guard heavy. We can't. I don't think that's going to be a pretty smart playing. But we are really guard heavy right now, so I'm curious to see what happens going forward.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening and watching the Windy City Rundown here on Facebook and on YouTube, guys. Thank you for guys watching shows. Make sure you guys like and share our episodes on your Facebook page or go on our YouTube page, like and subscribe there too as well. Share your episodes, share our episodes on your Facebook page, and also hit the little bell on our pages to get notified when our shows are live. We're normally live Tuesdays at 7:30, so make sure you guys follow us today. We are talking about the Chicago Bulls and the trades that they have made. They made multiple trades in the last 24 to 36 hours. Big trades too as well to help impact this team and in a rebuild type of way. CP says here, it's like the Spider-Man meme with us in Miami and Atlanta, like as far as the play-in goes. He says we're still stuck on Patrick Williams. Talk about highway robbery. You mentioned it. You alluded to it earlier, Jose, about the contract that they've given him. Not really well deserved. And it says tank for AJ. Yeah, man, Jose. Look, there's a part of me right now about the Chicago Bulls, or there's a part of me that feels somewhat happy about the Chicago Bulls and the moves that they've been making. Right? There's part of me that's been excited and been happy that they're finally taking this route, right? But I generally still feel like they've done this a year or two too late. Trading Vooch this late into only getting the second round pick and the players we had. Like there was a time and a place where the Vooch could have probably gone for a first round pick somewhere down the line, right? With a decent contract and for a contending team, right? I felt like they missed a trigger on Zach LaVine when they traded him. I felt like they missed a trigger on DeMar DeRozan when they let him go. I felt like they missed a trigger on a lot of people, even before these guys in the previous regime that they have given up before. But right now, it just feels like they have to capitalize and they have to maximize on the players that they still have left. Ayo Dosunmu we'll probably get another second round pick for him if we're lucky, right? Kobe White is the only hope that we have that we might potentially get a first round pick, maybe, but I still feel like they're going to get a second round pick. We're going to have so many second round picks, bro. Like there's nothing. Unfortunately, there's only 2 rounds in the NBA. And the fact of the matter is that we have to rely on this regime to find players to build the next team. Hell, who knows? Maybe they're doing all this and at the end of the season, they're no longer with the team and the next regime probably going to have multiple and a lot of picks to think of or to pick up. And to pick up for these couple players. CP says, I can't believe we let Vooch go for no first rounders. It's embarrassing. 100% CP, and I agree with you. Like everything that the Bulls have been doing, or the Bulls the Bulls done, is really nothing.
Well,
we've been sitting here quick, so many times. Like,
but real quick, that's on them. Like, no offense, but
it is.
If all we can get is a second rounder for Vooch. I mean, obviously besides Simmons, right, who I think is going to be a good player. But if that's basically it, then that's on Karnisovas and Eversley for evaluating Vooch to be something he's not. Like that was the market. A second rounder was a market for him, and that's what sucks. That they put themselves in that position. We didn't get first round picks for guys that were on here that when this team was good, and they traded these players way too late. They traded DeMar DeRozan way too late. LaVine got traded way too late. Vucevic way too late, and that's what happens. That's totally on them. Exactly. I blame this front office.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, truly 100%. There's nobody to blame but this front office. I mean, you could blame them for a lot of things, from the money that they gave Zach to the money that they gave Patrick Williams to drafting Dalen Terry to trading away Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Vucevic a year or two too late. Whatever. I mean, yes, Josh Giddey has been okay for the Chicago Bulls, since he's been here since he's been here in Chicago for the trade for Alex Caruso. But I've always said to you, like, there should have been a first round pick attached to Caruso some way, somehow. One of the million picks that the Thunder have for the next 5, 6, 7 years. Like, it should have came attached to Alex Caruso, but it didn't happen, right? But Jose, just real quick, just to go into a couple of the trades that the Bulls made. One of them yesterday, it was the Bulls traded with Minnesota and Detroit, so Bulls to the Pistons, and the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Pistons received a first round picks. They swapped first round picks. So that was the first trade that happened yesterday, and kind of the domino effect of what happened today. Today, like we mentioned, the Bulls and the Celtics traded Nikola Vucevic going to the Celtics. They swapped second round picks too as well, and in return, Jose, we get what's his name again?
Anthony
Simmons. Yeah, so to the Bulls, like you said,
well,
the
trade with the three-way trade that we did with the Pistons and the Timberwolves was also today, Eric, with Mike Conley coming to the Bulls, Jaden Ivey.
Today, yeah.
Yeah, what the trade I think you're talking about that happened, if it was yesterday, the day before, was we basically got we were part of a 3-team deal between 2 other teams. I can't think of the teams. Forgive me. But the Bulls would just happen to be in the right position at the right time, where they end up getting some second round picks and Dario Saric, to basically help those teams clear space and money. The Bulls took on him. They waived Javon Carter, but then they then used Dario Saric today in a trade, where I think he's going to Detroit, I believe. For, like I said, Jaden Ivey.
Yeah.
And Mike Conley's also coming over here from the Timberwolves.
Yeah. I mean, we should be excited, Jose. But I feel like this is kind of like okay.
No. We're excited to an extent. I think the only reason why we're not is because we're waiting to see where the domino falls. You know what I mean? We're waiting to see what happens.
Right. And the perfect segue to that, Jose, is literally quite easily like, who's next on the trade block, right? You mentioned that we had 7 guards on this team. You've mentioned that we're guard heavy. Kobe White is a free agent at the end of the year. Ayo Dosunmu, team-friendly contract. I think you still have him from a year or two. I really don't remember his contract situation, but you still have Ayo Dosunmu for the next couple of years. Do one of them go? Kobe goes? Does Ayo go? Or both of them go? At this point, would you be happy to whatever the Bulls receives from any one of those 2 players?
If I'm being completely honest, I don't think there's anybody on this team that's untradeable. The only person I personally would like to stay is Matas Buzelis, only because he's from Chicago. You've seen some really good highlights. The kid has potential. He could definitely be a good role player here. But it all depends on where you want to go. And I'm sorry for being a broken record, repeating myself over and over, but it's really hard to judge what this team is going to do because we really haven't seen anything, that shows us they can do anything positive. Like I said, like that one team that they build with DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, right, Lonzo Ball, that was great. That was great to a certain extent, right? But again, it's literally just wait and see. But to answer your question, who's next? I want to say Kobe White should be someone you move on from. As much as I love Kobe White and I love the production that he does and everything that he's able to do, I think he's the biggest trade asset you have. You should be able to get significant, I think, amount for him because of what he's able to do consistently on the court, right?
There you go.
So for me, he's the person, right? Ayo, I think could be. Ayo could be another second round pick, right? I don't expect nothing for him, but for Kobe White at least, I think you can get a first round pick, maybe one, or maybe a good young player that you could build with.
Sorry, Jose. 100%. I mean, look, he's a free agent at the end of the year, so whatever you get for Kobe White is basically a win at the end of the day. Whether you get him, coming off of free agency for next year, that could also be a possibility. Trade him away. Hopefully, you could re-sign him as a free agent at the end of the year. Whatever works, right? It just seems to me, Jose, that the times that the little that I watched the Chicago Bulls, the fact of the matter is like it's kind of complicated just to let Kobe go, simply because like when Kobe and Giddy are both out on the floor, it looks like the offense kind of flows perfectly. It looks like the offense kind of is going through, the set plays, going through Vooch, going down the middle. Obviously, Kobe can shoot the ball a little bit. Kobe Giddy can drive and also shoot for the mid range too a little bit as well. And it just feels like the offense flows a little bit. And I get it. You want to get as much draft picks as you can, and that's what we've both been wanting for the last couple of years. Like, hell, I almost did my sports mulligan and almost gave up my Bulls fandom for another NBA team. But even then, so like this is the route that I've been wanting them to take for the last several years. So again, like if you could get Kobe at the end of the year, that's fine. Get for what you could get. I agree with CP. You at least got to get a first round for Kobe White, because Kobe White has been playing pretty good and has been playing pretty good basketball for the last 2.5 years. So I think he is, like you say, their best asset. Ayo DeSumo can be a good asset for something else, another second rounder that we could pick, that we could get for. And then that rebuild just starts all over again, right? It looks like you're going to build around Giddy. Cool, great. But can you get it right? And that's the next real question, Jose, that can you get it right for the Chicago Bulls? You said wait and see. I'm in a wait and see mode. I think I'm going to watch a little bit more of Chicago Bulls basketball because I kind of want to see them lose and see how far they can lose, right? They own 2 picks this year, their own and Portland's pick. There's a possibility that the Bulls can get 2 picks in the top 10 this year. There's a possibility, but they have to lose almost a good amount of games this year for that to happen. I am okay. Nobody's untouchable in this team. Hell, if there's an offer for Josh Giddey, I'll even consider that too as well. I don't care who else is on this team. If there's a possibility of you get as much draft picks as you can for the next 2-3 years, great. If that means you have to give up Giddey, great. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather have nobody on this team and build with somebody young and athletic up and coming for this draft, Jose.
If you're asking me what I want, what I think the Bulls should do, they should fire AK and Eversley. I feel like they gave you enough time to show you that they don't know what they're doing, or at least they can't build a team. But knowing the Reinsdorf, knowing the Bulls organization, they like to, be loyal to their guys. And look, I'm not faulting them. Like the last thing I want is for people to lose their jobs, right? Lose their livelihoods. But at the end of the day, when you're in this business, you know the risks. And I really do think the Bulls should cut ties with this front office, hire a new one, and see what they can do. But at the end of the day, we know that's not going to happen, right? So we got to be able to trust this regime. They've shown nothing that we can trust them, but at the end of the day, let's just see what they can do. But I agree with you. Trade Giddey, trade away Kobe White. Let's hope we're able to get something in return, and let's build from that. I personally don't see us having, top 10 picks this year. But if we could somehow, some way scout and find somebody later in the round, why not? You know what I mean? Let's just see what we can do and see what we can get, and let's start from scratch here. And next year, same thing. Let's rebuild. Let's start from scratch, and let's try to get pieces, man. Best case scenario, Eric, we draft a couple of studs. This team's looking good with young core pieces, and maybe a star wants to come. You know what I mean? And build around that. I think Eric froze. But while Eric gets connection back, let's go to the comments. CP, let's go to CP. He says, I can't believe.
Facebook says, why waste the time on a team that doesn't care about the fan base? So fucking mad at the ownership. No, 100%. Oh, yeah. There you go. Am I good? Is it me or is it you? I think it's me, right?
I don't know. I think you were. I think you were lagging. At least on my end, you were. But yeah, we're reading the comments right now. We're on the same page here. CP goes and says, I can't believe we let Vooch go for no first round. This is embarrassing. He also got on and said, Kobe, you got to get a first rounder for. I agree 100%. And then the one you just read, Tony, why waste the time on a team that doesn't care about the 100%. Fan base? So fucking mad at ownership. Look, Tony, we agree with you. That's why me and Eric were boycotting for so long. But at the end of the day, we are Bulls fans. We are like if we were gonna give up, then we wouldn't be talking about the Bulls right now. We wouldn't be. But I think the reason why me and Eric still.
This is what I wanted.
Yeah. Like we still in a way believe in this team because we're fans of this team. Like Eric almost revoked his Bulls fandom last year. He almost gave up and went to another team, but he stuck around, so now he has to see it through. You know, and this is where we're at.
Yeah. He said that's why it hurts. And I understand, Tony. Like I understand it hurts because I mean, hell, with the way how this Bulls organization has been running or has been ran since for God knows how long. We had a great run, you know, in the 90s, but I feel like that's what we're looking back at, just at the 90s, because we had Michael Jordan on the team, you know. But ever since Jordan, Tony, like the turn of the century, of the 21st century, we had nothing. We only had 3 great years with Derrick Rose, and that's about it. And then after that, it's like what? Nothing else after that. You know what I mean? Like the Bulls, the Chicago Bulls crave a superstar. The Chicago Bulls needs to crave a team or needs to build on these players, but it's also kind of hard to do that when like everybody knows around the NBA and maybe even kids in college, the parents in college, they all even know that the Bulls really don't treat their players very well. Like, and it's been said. And Jose, I know you went to the Derrick Rose thing, last week or 2 weeks ago, his retirement jersey, but in all reality, like during that time, during that period, did they really care about him? Did they really give him that much help that they can to win a championship? And then it doesn't help even that, you know, whatever happened with Derrick Rose transpired, right? And then even after that, when he was still with the Bulls, right? And even after trading him and after all that stuff, right? It also doesn't help that the last dance doesn't help Reinsdorf's case of him being a good owner at all, right? It just seems to me like there is really no true adult in the building to help you or to help this team to make us believe like something good is going to happen, you know?
And you're 100%
start. I will say that.
You're 100% right, Eric, and I was gonna go exactly where you're going now. It's like you're right, but we have to start somewhere. It has to start somewhere, and this has to be it for the Bulls. It has to be it. You have to start here from ground zero. You have to tear this. You have to tear this thing down, rebuild it, completely obliterate the foundation, right, from the studs, build it back up, and just try to rebuild some sort of relevancy like the Bears did, right? Credit to Ryan Poles and what he did over there. He was able to let some guys go. At 1 year, we had the most cap space, and 1 year we had some good draft picks, right? We just needed the coach, but first we just needed the quarterback. We made some moves and some trades to get the quarterback. Then we needed the coach, and now here we are, and we're starting to see the fruit of that labor. We need something similar here for the Bulls, but the Bulls gotta kind of luck their way into a number 1 pick. In order for this to turn around in, I think, a way we will all be satisfied, they gotta get a number 1 pick within the next 3 years, maybe 2 years. I would say the next 2 years they need to luck into the number 1 pick. We all know the NBA lottery is rigged. Like last year's NBA lottery showed us how rigged it was. I don't know what Reinsdorf needs to do. I don't know. I don't know what sacrifice he has to make, whose dick he has to suck. But you need to do something to get that number 1 pick, Reinsdorf. You got to do something. We need that number 1 pick here in Chicago. We need a superstar, and we gotta turn this franchise around. Because goddamn, man, let's be honest here. That's the only way it's gonna work out.
Jose, I think that already happened with Derrick Rose, and then I think the Bulls and the GM and the Bulls organization kind of did the NBA kind of wrong and bogus about that too. So I don't know if they're gonna happen again. I think it has to be a new owner in order for the Bulls for that to happen, dude. But he did. Getting to think that the coach is too good for this team. I feel bad for him 100%. I mentioned earlier in the season or earlier in the year, Tony, that this is going to be Billy Donovan's best coaching style, and it looks like it has. I mean, at times, you know, Billy Donovan does look like he knows what he's doing. It's just that he doesn't have a team around him. He doesn't have a team that is built for his offense and just in general, just built for an NBA team, you know? The GM has to go 100%. Tony, I think we've been saying this for the last year and a half, Tony, that AK and Mark Eversley just don't do it right. They don't do the just as well of the Bulls organization. I think it's those two are just another yes men to Jerry Reinsdorf, and I think we've really looked at AK at a point to where where the Nuggets were, right? The Nuggets just came off winning an NBA title just when Mark Eversley came over from the Denver Nuggets, thinking to ourselves that we believe that we can find a Nikola Jokic in the second round, right? And I think in the back of our minds, we saw the Denver Nuggets being successful, and AK came from that thinking that was going to happen to us too as well. It hasn't, So like we've given this guy we overhyped this guy so much to where at the end of the day doesn't knows what he's doing and how to run a proper NBA organization, knowing how to build a proper NBA team. And an Eastern Conference that is so wide open when this year with so many injuries that he still can't even build a proper team. Hell, not even a proper team to compete, even though we know that the writing is on the wall and we're not going to win. Just be competitive enough. But the play-in tournament has helped this regime to keep their jobs at the end of the day, because as long as you make the play-in game, guys, you still have your jobs, because you know why? You're at least guaranteed 1 or 2 games in the United Center, and that's extra revenue for you that instead of being there for 42 games. And Tony goes on and says, die or sell.
Not to mention that the Bulls lead the league in attendance year in and year out. That only helps this regime stay. That only helps this ownership look at the numbers like, hey, we're doing good. We must be doing good if tickets are selling, right? If we're selling out arenas left and right, like why would they feel any need to change? If you want real change, stop going to the games. Let them realize, like, damn, this is hurting our pockets. Damn, this revenue is down. Damn, we're not selling as much tickets. What's going on here? Viewership is down. Yeah, that is where they're gonna be like, okay, change must happen because our fans must be pissed, right? But the fact that we're continuing to go to games, we're continuing to lead the league in attendance, only benefits them. And let's be honest, Eric, you and I and a lot of Bulls fans were clamoring for Gar and Pax to be fired. We needed a change in the organization. But this regime today is making me want them back. I can't believe I'm here begging for Gar and Pax to come back. Right? I'm looking at the stuff that he did. Like, you know what? Maybe it wasn't that bad. Like, we did draft Jimmy Butler. We did trade for Lauri Markkanen. Yes, he wasn't as good as he is now when he was there. But I blame a lot of that on coaching, right? We got stars like Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah. We were able to bring in talent. Luol Deng, Taj Gibson, like those guys at least had track records of hitting on a lot of stars, right? Yes, there was a lot of misses, which is why we wanted them out. I'm not defending them. All I'm saying is we haven't seen none of that remotely close from this regime, which is why I'm like, I would rather have that regime, and that's saying something because we wanted them out for so long. That is wrong. That is bad. We shouldn't be asking for the regime that prior to this one. We shouldn't be looking. We shouldn't be asking for that. We need something new. We need a new voice in that office. Somebody to come and help change this around, because man, this is horrible.
100%. Tony on Facebook says go and get BJ Armstrong as the GM. You know what? To me, Tony, I don't like that because BJ Armstrong kind of rubbed me the wrong way during Derrick Rose time. I think BJ Armstrong was kind of like the outside of Derrick Rose's brother, was also kind of one of those advocate speakers for Derrick Rose, and he kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I don't think him as a GM kind of fits. But also at the same time, I really feel like in order for this to work, you really have to kind of like find some fresh blood. You know what I mean? Find someone young enough to handle this job and up and coming who's been an assistant and give them that opportunity to do so. And I get it. But also it just kind of feels like no matter who's the next GM of the Chicago Bulls, we're still going to get that Jerry Reinsdorf effect. We're still going to feel like, we got a new GM, but Jerry's still there. And is Jerry going to let him do his job, or is Jerry going to finally let go of the rope? And it's still going to be in the back of our minds, knowing that, unless this next GM hits it out of the park with the scouting, with the drafting, with with getting free agents, finding ways, this and that. But are they really? Is Jerry going to allow that? And right now, the way how everything's looking like, no. And I feel like maybe, just maybe, the lockout for MLB may help him transition that, because the only money he's going to get will be from the Chicago Bulls from the month of August all the way to when the season's over, if baseball is locked out in 2027. But even then, so it's just kind of like, do you even trust Jerry to make the right choice as a GM? He goes and says, Stacey King, we are desperate. I mean, what other former Bulls, even on top of that, like you mentioned BJ Armstrong, you mentioned Stacey King, to come back as the Bulls, but what about Jordan? What about your biggest face of your whole entire franchise doesn't even want to come to Chicago because of whatever reason you had back in the late 90s to blow up that team? There is no Phil Jackson. There is no Scottie Pippen. There's been a lot of players, like Horace Grant has been in a front office position. Steve Kerr, who's right now the coach of the Golden State Warriors, has been in the GM position. Like, there is plenty of players out there that played for your team that have been working in front offices. Why don't you give them a call? Because they understand what Chicago Bulls basketball is. Give them the opportunity. But even if you do that, are we even confident to think that Jerry's going to let them do their job? Jerry's got to go 100%. I think for not just us Bulls fans, but I think a few White Sox fans too as well, at least they have hope in 2030, 2032, whatever that case may be, when Ishbia takes over. At least the hope is down the line for them that Jerry Reinsdorf will no longer be with the team. For the Chicago Bulls, there's no light at the end of the tunnel for that. And we still have to deal with him until that, him and his son, Michael Reinsdorf, too, as well, who's actually running the Chicago Bulls. Like, there is no light at the end of this tunnel with the Reinsdorf attached to it, and it just sucks. And then Tony goes and says he'll never come back. He is still hurting. I mean, yeah. I mean, if the Last Dance didn't show you that he still feels some type of way on how that era and how that Bulls team finished or ended, then yeah, like he's still hurting the way how he got treated at the end of the day for what he brought to this organization, what he brought to this city, and what he built the Chicago Bulls. Because without Jordan, this NBA organization, the Chicago Bulls, without that team in the 90s, is a very bad to mediocre. We're like the OKC Thunder before they won their title last year.
It's crazy when you think about teams, Chicago teams that won championships in the past, or just teams in general that were great. Like, let's talk about the 85 Bears or the 2010 Bears, the 2006 Bears, the Derrick Rose Bulls, the 2016 Cubs, right? 2005 White Sox. Yeah. It's crazy that you always see those star players still show up today at the arenas, at the games, right? Whether they're ambassadors, spokesperson, throwing out first pitch, yada yada, you name it, right? They have nights like Derrick Rose night, right? Like, they did his whole thing. We've never really gotten that with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. Not like, no. You talk about the greatest, literally one of the greatest dynasties in not just basketball, but in sports history, with the most polarizing, famous player, not just NBA player, but just sports athlete in general, overall, in our whole lifetime. And the Bulls, and when do you ever see him at the United Center at games? Never. I've never seen it. I'm going to be 35 this year. I've been a Bulls fan since I was a kid, since I can remember. Not once have I seen that since that team has been dismembered or disassembled, whatever you want to say. Since they haven't been a team anymore, you haven't seen it. Why? I get it. We've seen The Last Dance, but if you're Reinsdorf, why haven't you reached out? Or if you have, why hasn't it come to fruition? There has to be something there. And if you're Jerry Reinsdorf, you have to be looking at yourself in the mirror like, what is going on here? That says a lot. It says a lot. When you have the greatest player of all time and you still can't bring him back to the arena? Are you kidding me? So if you're these other players coming up, why would you want to join this organization? That's why if you're the Bulls, you're better off drafting a team that can compete, because then you have incentives for a superstar like Giannis, for a superstar like Steph. Not saying he would ever come here, but just saying, in general, superstars like that who are looking for a different home to want to come join, right? Like look at the OKC Thunder after Durant, Harden, and Westbrook left. Look how long it took them to build that team up to the team they were today. We kind of need that a similar pathway, and a lot of that happened through the draft. That's what the Bulls need to do.
Yeah, 110%. Tony goes, when was the last time Jordan was back in Chicago? I mean, didn't they have? I want to say, didn't they have a couple years ago? I know this is sort of soon. I want to say, Tony, refresh my memory. That they had like a what's that called? Years back, where they had all basically everybody like Steve Kerr and Kukoc and Pippen and Jordan. Like everybody showed up, or sort of kind of everybody showed up except for Michael. Michael sent like a video to that. You know what I mean? I want to say that's what happened. Like he sent the video like, oh, thank you, Chicago, blah, blah, blah. Like he doesn't come back to Chicago at all. Even when he was the owner of the Hornets, Bobcats, he never really showed up to Chicago just like that, simply because of like how he felt like he was treated. And rightfully so. Like, I mean, I wouldn't either. If a team treated me the way that they treated me toward my tail end of the career, when we had something good and something built, and they treated me that way, I don't think I would come back either. Talk about, I've done so much for you and this is how you're gonna let me go? No, like I wouldn't. Tony says, I turned 60 and I've never seen a superstar like Jordan come back because he is hurt. I mean, yeah, it's basically what it is at the end of the day. At the end of the day, Jose, he still feels some type of way on how they ended that team, on how they ended that dynasty. Tony said that they had one more in them, and it just felt like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like he said, it doesn't. I think it was Krause or Reinsdorf that said it. It's like they don't care if they go 82-0. They're still going to blow that team up at the end of the day, and they felt like they got the short end of the stick at that point. So it's just kind of like, all right, like y'all don't care what we built in the last 15, 16 years that I've been here. Like, no. Like they all wanted to retire a Bull, and they ended up all having basketball careers outside of Chicago. Mike went to Washington, Pippen went to Portland, everybody else went their own separate ways and not really ended their careers with the Bulls. That just sucks at the end of the day, man.
Yeah.
Windy City Rundown here on Facebook. I had joined us earlier today. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys like and share our shows on your Facebook page, like and subscribe on our YouTube page. And as always, join us in the comment section. Or the link is in the comments too as well if you want to join us via video. Jose, before we leave, we do have to talk about the pin that's happening on Sunday between the Seahawks and the Patriots. Real simple. We're gonna keep it quick. What's your prediction? What do you feel like is going to happen? What is your gut feeling about this game on Sunday?
I feel like everyone's picking the Seahawks, and I feel like
Tony says, "Fuck the Bulls." On that note, fuck the Bulls. Sorry, I just had to read what Tony read, man. Tony read that shit was funny.
I hate to say this, but it's not a coincidence. The Bears became good once Virginia passed away, right? Rest in peace, of course. I'm not. I mean, look, maybe the Bulls need something similar. You know what I mean? I don't wish death on no one. All I'm saying is that there's a curse there. You know what I mean? Like we gotta do something. I'm joking. Forgive me, Lord. Forgive me. But Seahawks, Patriots. I feel like the Seattle Seahawks are just a little bit too favored for my liking. I could totally see the New England Patriots making it a game, maybe even winning, Eric. I think a lot of the smart money is going to be coming on the Patriots right before the game. That being said, I personally think the Seahawks are going to win, despite what I just said. So I would like to say Seahawks 24-17, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Patriots 24-23.
Oh, you definitely got a lot closer than me. I could tell you that much. I think it's gonna be like a 38-14 Seahawks. I feel like this is gonna be a blowout. I don't.
I know.
We were talking about one of the best defensive fronts of the Seattle Seahawks up against one of the kind of weakest offensive line in the New England Patriots. I think that would dictate the whole entire game. I do genuinely do feel like the way how they started against the Rams, the Seahawks feel like it's also going to be the same way they're going to start against the Patriots, just to get that confidence to Sam Darnold. Because the moment you get Sam Darnold with confidence, it looks like it's a different team. That running game with Kenneth Walker is going to be crazy, and especially if you have that number one wide receiver in JSN going off all crazy. And that defense of the Seattle Seahawks is just crazy. It's not Legion of Boom, but it's damn near close. And it's just going to make life for the Patriots and Drake May so uncomfortable on the offense side of the ball that the defense will probably get, gassed and gashed at the end of the day. I do see this as a blowout. I do see it like a 30-14 type of game. I don't think this is even going to be a competition. I feel like this game is going to be over probably by the second quarter. Just because you're absolutely right. It just seems like everything's going the Seahawks way. It just feels like it's Seahawks. Everybody's just picking the Seahawks money wise, game wise, and stuff like that. Not really giving the Patriots the opportunity. But at the end of the day, if you really look at it on paper, if you really look at both teams, it just the talent disparity between the Seahawks and the Patriots is just astronomical. And it just seems like it's going to be a blowout in my eyes. Tony says 23-17 Seahawks over the Patriots, and he says Kupp is gonna go crazy on that game. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Nothing would surprise me on who shows up for the Seattle Seahawks. Cooper Kupp, JSN, Kenneth Walker, your tight ends. Hell, even Sam Darnold at this point, for all I care. It just feels like whoever shows up for the Seattle Seahawks is going to be the turning point for that team, and is going to be the turning point for that game. It's not going to be the only time it close is at kickoff when it's at 0-0.
Should be good. I'm excited. I think Eric froze.
Either I was lagging or Jose's lagging, but yeah, that's just my point of view. Oh, there you go. I follow this one, but I mean, yeah, money's. It's funny, Jose, because you and I and John were cooking up a Super Bowl parlay, and my ass said that JSN first touchdown, like the first score. I feel like that's what's gonna go down, dude. Do you think that the schedule of the Patriots kind of makes everybody feel this type of way, Jose? Because they had the easiest schedule coming into the playoffs, coming into the Super Bowl. Like, they had the easiest schedule going down. The playoffs didn't really seem that big of an impact for the Patriots. Like, do you feel like their schedule is really affecting the decision-making of them being where they are as the underdogs in the Super Bowl?
I think that has a lot to do with it, but I personally don't believe in it because once you're in the playoffs, you still have to play good teams, right? They play the Chargers. Offensively, the Chargers weren't good, but the defense, it was still a good defensive game, and the Patriots came out on top. And then they went to play the Texans, who everybody thought was an even better defense, right? Just as good as the defense as this Seattle Seahawks. That's why I'm not sitting here saying that they're just going to get blown out like everyone thinks they are. Patriots played two good defenses coming into this game, right? And then three. How can I figure about the Broncos? They've played nothing but great defenses coming into this game. So the fact that here they are going to play another defense says a lot. Their defense themselves kept them in that game. And I believe when it matters, Drake May is very, very consistent, and he's very, very accurate, especially when those deep balls and you have some deep threats on that team. Don't sleep on the New England Patriots. They're very well coached. I see this game being a lot closer than a lot of people expect it to be, and I would not be surprised if the Patriots come out on top.
I wish I could see that, Jose. I really do, but I don't know, man. I generally do feel like this is really giving me Broncos, Seahawks, New York Super Bowl. I don't know why. I just feel that way. But also, just just how that team is stacked up, just how the team. Drake May has been the most hit quarterback this year. Has been, I think, the second or third sack quarterback this year. The Seahawks has been in top 5 of every defensive category in football this year. Yes, they're coached well. Yeah, the Patriots. Yes, they look like they have some decent weapons on the outside with Booty and Diggs and everybody else. Different beast. Tony says that the playoffs is a different kind of tournament. And I agree, Tony. I really do agree with that one. But sometimes you can just see the talent, and the talent just, But yeah, well, we both got the Seahawks. Jose and I think we all got not do, but at the end of the day, we just see it our own 2 eyes. We see a lot of football throughout our whole lifetime, and we just know when a team is better than the other. And I feel like that's going to be the case on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree.
30-14 in my eyes, Jose. 30-14 in my eyes.
I don't see that. I don't see that happening.
Well, this is a great episode. So sorry. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Jose, this was a great episode. I appreciate you so much, guys. Thank you for everybody joining us and watching us. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, CP, on the comments. Thank you, everybody. Make sure, as always, on your Facebook page, like and share our episodes on your Facebook page. Like and subscribe on our YouTube page. And follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff as we post content from our shows. And as always, we appreciate you guys so much. We will talk about next week. Hopefully we'll see what the Bulls do on the trade deadline. The trade deadline does end on Thursday. See if they make any more moves on top of that. Obviously, we're going to talk about the big game on Sunday between the Seahawks and the Patriots. Much more Chicago talk. Baseball is right around the corner. We'll have our hot stove talk too about our Cubs, and also the Sox, who hopefully maybe they're saying that they're going to be better in those sports. We will provide you that information too as well. For Jose Contreras, I am Eric Avila. We appreciate you guys. 7:30 next Tuesday here on Facebook and YouTube. Jose, as always.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
He's running like he's got a lobster down his pants, showing that he is as slippery as a bar of soap.
Like poop through a diarrhea-infected goose.
Commented about it.
That's fine. I'm not laughing about it. You think this is funny? I take this serious.
I'm not.
Real serious. I put my heart and soul into this every single week.
Are we done here?
It's about time.